Hey everybody, so for this week's p5.js tutorial, I'm going to do another Google Doodle inspired project. So this one I'd seen maybe a month ago at this point, but upcoming soon for August 11th. So this was a Google Doodle made for the anniversary of the birth of hip hop music. There's a lot to it, so I'm going to skip.
Now this is the crossfader. This is
skip the tutorial as well here. All right, so there's a whole history there I recommend you check out. So we have two turntables here, and basically we have a record spinning, and it's playing a breakbeat. And then when I click on the circle, it stops. Okay. Now that's about as much as I want to do, and then I'll add a little. I can move the. If I move the mouse, it'll like scratch it and change it. There's a button here where I can go and look at different records, which is pretty awesome. Here we go. Okay, so actually here, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, but that is, okay, quite a bit more. There we go, stopped it. So, that is sort of what has inspired what I'm going to do here, okay? Now, I'm not going to get nearly as in detail as that just to make this manageable, okay? But what I do want to do is have a spinning circle and then have a loop playing, and when I click on the circle, it stops the loop from playing. When I let go, it starts, and then I'm going to add a little bit of extra inspired by something else. But let's start with that first, okay? So the first thing I need to do is get this circle spinning around, all right? And that is going to actually require me to do something we haven't really covered before, which is to sort of turn things, okay? Like, for example, let's say, just to make this a bit more visual, let's just say I have a rectangle or say I'm actually going to do this, something called rect mode, and I'm going to center it. So what rect mode center does is just makes the points that I put for the X and Y are the center of the square as opposed to the upper left hand corner. And we'll just do 100, 100 here, okay? You don't have, this is just to demonstrate how this will work, okay? So first of all, here's my rectangle, okay? Now, in order to turn something, to rotate it is what it's called, I need to use something called translate. Okay, so what translate does is, because I'm going to rotate something in p5.js, what that means is I'm going to sort of rotate it around the point 0, 0. All right, so basically if I move something or I want it to turn, it has to use 0, 0 as its focal point. So I will show you here. First thing I need to do also is angle mode, okay? So the default angle mode is something called radians, which I'm not going to get into because I don't even really understand it. I'm going to go with degrees because degrees I understand. 360 degrees all the way around, 180 degrees is turned in certain directions. So that I think everyone is more familiar with, okay? So if I say rotate, and then let's just do 90 degree. Well, let's do 45. So if we're thinking about a rectangle here or a square, that would sort of turn it just slightly so it looks like a diamond, okay? But if I do rotate, see, it winds up all the way over here for some reason. Now note it is turned, okay, but it also has moved off to the side a little bit. And the reason being is that when we rotate something in P5, it's rotating away from the center point, which is 0, 0, okay? So what I need to do is something called translate. And translate, all that does is it takes the point 0, 0 and I can move it to a different place on my canvas, and then that point on my canvas will be 0, 0. So for example, I could say I want to move 0, 0 to 200, 200. So now the center point of my canvas is actually 0, 0, which would then mean I'd have to use some negative numbers and stuff like that, okay? Let me just sort of comment this out. So let's see, we're back to our square here. Now I'm going to add the translate and watch what happens. So now all of a sudden you see my square is all the way down here in the corner. So what happened? Well, if we go back for a second, think about it. Okay, we have taken 0, 0 and we moved it here. So if my square is at 200 and 200, the square, if this is 0, 0, now 200, 200 is all the way down here, which is why we see the rectangle move like that. Okay, so that's why it's over there. So what do I need to do to fix that? I just now need to make the center of my rectangle, or the x and y position of my rectangle, to actually be 0, 0, because I've translated the point 0, 0 to 200, 200. So there you see now my rectangle is back in the center. Okay, so I've translated the point 0, 0 to the middle, and now I want my rectangle in the middle, so the x and y of that are 0, 0. And now I think I actually probably want to put this after translate. And now if I rotate it, you will see it is now rotating around the point 0, 0, so now I'm able to spin that rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to change this to a circle in a minute, but I just want to now add another thing here. So I am now going to make something called A, and that's going to be the angle. So rotate is rotating by an angle. Okay, so if I were to change this to, say, 70, okay, it moves a little bit more. It's slightly off tilt here. Okay, so if I'm just going to make that angle to be A, and if I do it here, it'll be regular. I could change A to 45, and it would be like that. Okay, but that's not really what I want to do. I said I want it to spin. So really all I need to do now is do A plus plus. Okay, if I do that, now I get this rotating square here. Okay, so that is the effect I am looking for. All right. And then I could make it rotate faster by simply adding more to the angle. So I could do like 6 here, and then it seems to spin a lot faster. All right. I am, for the sake of this, I'm not going to get into the math, but I'm going to rotate it by 3.33333, because that is going to actually be consistent with the 33 1/3 revolutions per minute that we see in a spinning record. Okay, so I have that. Now, obviously, I need a spinning circle. Okay, but I'm going to run into a problem very quickly here. So I'm just going to change this to be not a circle. I'll go ellipse here. Okay, so now I do it, but it doesn't appear to be moving. Why not? And actually, I'm going to make this a little bit. I'm going to make it like 150. Oh, so now you see it's moving, okay? But if I also change this to 150, and actually I just get rid of it and make it like that, what's wrong? It doesn't appear to be moving. Well, it is moving, but because there is no corner or irregularity to indicate that it's spinning, it just looks like a circle that is regular. Okay, so what I'm going to actually do is add a line to this. Okay, so remember, line takes 2 points, the 1 point, the x and y of the starting point of the line, x and y of the finishing point of the line. Okay, so I'm going to start it in the middle at 0, 0, and then I'm going to actually have it go from the middle point here. Okay, and then I'm going to actually do, so keeping in mind that the center is 0, I'm actually going to make it half the width, but that means I have to make it minus 75. Okay, so this is the point where I want it to go. So I actually have to now use 0. So if I do that, you now see I have this line that is rotating it around here, and if I actually just stop for a second, you see I have this point. So again, this is 0, 0. Everything after 0 this way on the y-axis would be positive, but now that I have translated, I'm going to be at negative. All right? I know this is a little weird to understand, but if you're just kind of following along, you can hopefully see how this works, and this could prove helpful to if you want to start rotating things. All right, so there I have my spinning circle to represent my record. All right, so next thing I need to do is go in and add some sounds, and then I will click on the circle to make it stop. So we'll do that in the next video.